Welcome to another Hunters Connect video. Today we are talking about arrow selection and specifically arrow spine. If you are new to archery and you're looking to get your first set of arrows, there are a number of things that you should be aware about, and that's what we're going to cover in today's video. So starting off, what is arrow spine? This is something that you really need to know and is really important, not just for how you're going to shoot, like improving your accuracy, but also for your safety. It's important to choose the correct spine for your setup. So the spine of the arrow refers to the amount of stiffness or flex that the arrow has. And unfortunately, spine is treated a little bit differently from manufacturer to manufacturer. So for example, a 300 spine arrow for one manufacturer might not actually be the same amount of flex or stiffness as another 300 spine from a different manufacturer. So it's important when choosing spine that you first know these three elements that affect which spine is right for you. First is your draw weight. Draw weight is the amount of weight that you pull on your bow, and that ultimately affects the force that's placed on the arrow. If you increase your draw weight, you increase that force on the arrow, that's going to cause the arrow to flex a little bit more. Same thing with arrow length. If we increase the arrow length, there's going to be more flex to the arrow. And thirdly, your field tip, or your point weight rather. Your point weight, if it's increased, is also going to increase the flex of the arrow. So it's important to know those three numbers. You need to know your draw weight, your arrow length, and your point weight. Then you need to take those three numbers and plug them into the chart that dictates the spine that you will need for your particular setup. And that changes from manufacturer to manufacturer. But the most important thing is that you know those three numbers and that they don't change. Now you can always visit your local pro archery shop and they can help guide you to figuring out the correct spine for your setup. Another thing that you want to think about is the tolerance of the arrow. Now tolerance refers to the straightness. The straighter the arrow, the better you will shoot. These are typically in a range of anywhere from 0.006 to 0.001. The lower the number, the straighter the arrow. For bow hunters, the straightness is not as hypercritical as, say, a target archer, but nonetheless, it is still important in improving your overall arrow flight. There are a couple different material types that you may run into when selecting an arrow. Carbon arrows are incredibly popular among hunters. You may also see aluminum arrows, which are more popular for target archery, not so popular in hunting, as well as something called a full metal jacket, which is a carbon core aluminum outer shell. Regardless of the make of your arrow, it's extremely important as you're shooting to always inspect the arrow, give it a bend, give it a listen, make sure that there are no nicks or breaks in the arrow. And this is extremely important for your safety. As you're shooting, especially a carbon arrow, if there is a nick or a break in the arrow, when you take a shot, it can actually explode and cause harm or injury. So always check your arrow shafts, always check your nocks, and make sure that you're staying safe. For more helpful archery tips, visit Hunters Connect's YouTube channel or check out our Instagram.